you're new, karibu. Today I want to talk about the feeding lemonade braids that I did about a week ago. I want to give you a few details before we jump right into the demo. So how I prepped my hair is I used a cleansing bar, shampoo bar, to cleanse my hair, and followed it up with a henna treatment, actually a henna gloss treatment, to strengthen my hair during the manipulation and the install of the braids. Then followed it up with a deep conditioning treatment to make sure that it's moisturized throughout the period that I'll have the braids in. And lastly, I put in a leave-in, and I guess that's it. And I straightened my hair because I wanted to do a length check, which is in my previous video. So if you haven't watched it, I'll put the link down in the description box. So let's go to the braids that I use. I used the elegant braid, the long one, in the number 230. So this is how it looks like. 230. It has some blonde at the bottom. I bought 2 packs, but I used 1.5 packs. So 2 packs is safe, but I have a small head, so I don't know, you might want to try 3 if you have bigger head, a lot of hair than me. But if you kind of the same size, then just get 2. How much did they cost? They costed around 80 Kenya shillings, which is around under $1. So it's kind of cost effective. And how many did I use? I used 2 packs. Yeah. How long did it take me to install them? So it took me 3 hours in 2 days. So I did them for 2 days, and in each day I did them for 3 hours. So I think it took a long time because I was learning how to braid, and second of all, I was filming it while I was learning, so it was taking a long time. But I'm glad that I did them. It was a struggle doing them. Trust me, it wasn't easy. I can't say it was easy. Braiding yourself is a lot, but I'm happy that I learned, because that's my challenge this year. I want to learn how to braid. So why I picked these braids is because I love how lightweight they are. They're so light, and also they don't tangle as much. Like, they don't tangle, they're tangle free. They tangle just a little bit. No, it's not, you can't compare it to other braids. It's really beginner friendly, and if you're a professional, it saves you a lot of packs. So that's why I used these braids. Granted, since I was learning, I had like a ball of extension hair that I kind of wasted when I was learning how to do here and there, how to separate, and when I was braiding and taking them out. So I did have a ball, but it's not as big, it's not as bad as other braids, so I would highly recommend it. So if you want to see how I installed this hair, then keep on watching. I started off by sectioning my hair into 4 sections. The section on my right is meant for single strand braids, and this is the hair that I used. This is how it looks like outside the pack. So the technique that I decided to use is the rope technique. There are 2 other types of techniques for braiding, which is the Dutch braid and the French braid. I can do the other techniques, but I decided to use the rope because I find it comfortable to do, and also since I'm feeding in braids or extension hair, I find that it's easier for me to do it when I'm doing this technique. So in this section I will show you how I did the whole braid, but at the top of the hair, I'll show you sections of how I did it. I prepared the extension hair by dipping it into dilute warm apple cider vinegar soak so that the alkaline base can be neutralized. For those who don't know, braids do have an alkaline base that is meant to preserve it, and that alkaline base, when it touches your scalp, it causes a reaction. It gets so itchy, you can get scabs, you can get like dandruff like skin coming off. So the best thing to do is always to do an apple cider vinegar soak, especially if you do experience such kind of reaction. Since this was my first braid, I did experience some difficulties when it came to feeding in the extension hair, but as you move along with the style, it does get easier. I didn't show it on camera, but I did use a handheld mirror and the one that goes against the wall. So yeah, that does help in the whole process. Right here I've finished all the 4 cornrows in the first section. So moving on to the second section. This is the next day and my eyes are super puffy. I did not sleep well at night, but I did manage to do the individual section braids and also the mid section. My scalp is super sensitive, and even if I do braid my own hair, I do get sleepless nights, and the first nights are kind of very difficult. So you can imagine where if it's someone else braiding my hair. This section does decide how the entire hairstyle frames your face. So I do suggest you take your time with this section, and it does also form the foundation of the zigzag pattern that I was going for. So I hope at this section you can easily see how I do the rope braid. And if you do also notice, my edges are left untouched or unbraided because I did want this hairstyle to be protective. The thing I also did was the first like 2 or 3 inches of my cornrows were just my hair without extensions. Still, I wanted to make the hairstyle protective and not damage my hairline or my hair. So with the edges, how to make them neat, I will be gelling them down, but not every day, probably just every other day depending on where I'm going, but most of the time it will be just left alone. At this section I had already done the first zigzag. So how to achieve this is by doing 4 cornrows towards one direction and then another 4 set of cornrows towards the different direction. So 4 by 4, 4 by 4, it does create that zigzag pattern, and I hope that makes sense. So at this section I am almost done. I kind of pulled a fast one only, just the way stylists do on us. Just when you thought that just one more braid remaining, that section is divided into 4 more sections and you're like, what? I'm not done? Yeah. So I think this section is more visible than the rest. We can see how I did my braiding technique. If you've been struggling with different braiding techniques, I suggest you do try out this one and see how it goes for you. Between flat twisting and braiding, a key for me, flat twisting is easier, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing to learn a new technique, so I'm up for the challenge, I guess. And by my technique, I mean the technique that I chose to use for this particular hairstyle, and not that I came up or invented this particular technique. So please don't come for me. And I'm done. So I do oil my scalp with my DIY herbal oil mix. So it does have henna as the base, and then moringa, nettle, rosemary, mint leaves as the extra herbs. So yeah, all the good stuff. And since I had mousse on hand, I wanted to try out what I usually see on Instagram. Since I didn't use gel on this hairstyle, I was like, I have a lot of flyaways, so let me try and use mousse and see if it will help. And it does smell so good, so I'm not mad at it. Did it tame my flyaways? I don't know, I don't think so, but it does smell good. So, and it did make my braids shiny, so I'm happy about that. I did use a blow dryer to dry out the mousse, but guys, having a heating tool is a blessing and a curse at the same time. But that's a story for another day. So I braided and dip it into hot water, and eventually just squeezed out the excess water, and the style was done. I was so happy with the results, by the way. This was a nice challenge to achieve. So this is the final look. Not perfect, but I'm getting there. So I DIY'd this brass hair jewelry, and just to show you guys a different way to style the hair. From my previous video, you did see the brass and beaded hair cuffs. So this is just another way to spruce up your hair, give it a different look, and have fun with your hair. So guys, thank you for watching. I'm so happy that you stuck with me throughout this video. See you in the next one.